under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Rocha, can you lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, tonight we're so grateful for all the blessings that you continue to shower over our district, our students, our parents, our community. Heavenly Father, tonight as we are here gathered together, we ask that you guide our superintendent, Mr. Cavazos, and our board of trustees as they make those critical and important decisions for our district. We ask that you bless them and that you bless everybody here present tonight, especially our students who will be recognized tonight. Heavenly Father, we ask all of this in Jesus' name. We say amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Ms. Rocha. Our first item of the public hearing is the purpose of this hearing is to discuss the Ed Cachosa ISD Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas, also known as FIRST. We have presenter Silva Garza.
If you'll find a blue folder in your next, I have the slide, and I also have the management report for the board. Good evening, board. I'm going to go ahead and present. It's a fairly short presentation, and it just goes over the report itself and our rating. Okay, the purpose of the Financial Accountability Rating System is to ensure that school districts will be held accountable for the quality of their financial management practices, achieve improved performance in the management of their financial resources, and the rating system was designed to encourage Texas public schools to manage their financial resources in order to provide the maximum allocation possible for direct instructional purposes. The reporting requirements include, pursuant to Texas Education Code and the Texas Administrative Code, the Administrative Code requires financial disclosure of the superintendent contract, reimbursements by the district, outside compensation and fees to the superintendent, gifts from vendors, business transactions, and other pertinent information, and it also requires us to post notice and hold a public meeting. The Financial Accountability Rating System, Ed Cachosa ISD has earned the state rating of above standard achievement, with a B rating under the FIRST. The school district's FIRST rating is based upon analysis of staff and student data from the 16-17 school year. The FIRST rating also includes budgetary and financial data for the 16-17 and 17-18 school year. The district is rated according to 15 critical financial indicators as developed by TA, CASBO, and other organizations. And the report looks something. I put a copy in you so it can look a little bit better. There's 15 indicators, and some of the indicators are yes and no questions, and we received only one indicator with a no. But because it's a 2B, it doesn't affect our rating. So then we go into the second page. If you'll notice, we have one indicator, which is number 11. We have a rating of a 6. And that's on the administrative cost ratio. We lost 4 points because of our cost ratio, which measures the administrative expenditures versus the student expenditures. And so our administrative cost ratio is a little high. And then we go into the last part of this. And you notice on number 14, we received a 0.
That's all good.
And on that rating, it's either a yes or no. You either receive all 10 or you receive a 0. And that indicator is for the financial audit. We had our financial audit last year. We received a qualified opinion on our Title I grant. And so therefore, we received a 0 for that. Our total score was 86. And if you look at the last page, it gives you the scoring tab. And we fell under the above standard with a B rating.
But the issue that was found in item 14, it was addressed? It was fixed?
I'm sorry?
The issue that was found in 14 was addressed and fixed?
Yes, sir. Yes. We have worked very hard trying to address those issues.
We should see a 10.
The non-compliance, the issues with the EDGAR regulations, and so we've worked really hard. There definitely has been improvement, and so we'll wait for next year's ratings to see how that works out for us. And this is a comparison that Region 1 did with all the districts in the area. And you can see some of them have perfect scores, so that's our goal. And we're shooting for that. We're working very hard with the business office and the federal programs director and our special ed director, and our goal will be 100%. And this just shows how many points we went down. We went down 12 points from our last rating. Our last rating was an A, but because of that audit finding, we went down to a B. We went down 12 points. And that's basically it. It's a very short presentation, but everything can be
So
found.
all in all, that one item rating dropped us 10 points.
Yes, because it's a yes or a no.
Okay. So then it would have been an 8. Okay, that's fine.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sylvia. At this time, would there be any questions from the public in reference to our financial rating? I'll give some time. No, thank you. At this time, I'll be closing the public hearing on the financial rating. Motion for adjournment.
So,
Second. We have a motion by Trustee Lozano, second by Trustee Morales. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The meeting, the time is 6:33 p.m. Thank you, everybody. It's just, we have our annual financial meeting that we have to post a public meeting and go over the financial stability of the school district. So that's why we had to get that out of the way, and we have a deadline to meet. So I know everybody's kind of anxious to get the awards assembly going, so we just had to be patient that we had to really get that going. But we'll be starting the meeting right now shortly. We're just going to wait for the other board members to come in.
You want me to call?
yeah.
I'm not going to be Oh, okay. No audience from the comment. No comment.
Mrs. Rocha.
I'll be calling them from down there. Yes, yeah. Yeah, stay down. And I'll call them out. Or you can call them out. And then you can call up the next one. I'm sorry. What's that? Good evening, everyone. Today is December 17, 2018. The time is 6:35. I call a special meeting of the Ed Couch Independent School District to order. Roll call.
Board President Robert Smallstreet.
Here.
Board Vice President Chris Morales.
Here.
Board Secretary Robert Peacock. Here. Board Trustee Fernando Torres Jr.
Here.
Board Trustee Juan J. Ibarra.
Here.
Board Trustee Tony Barco.
Here.
Board Trustee Rolando Lozano.
Here.
Board President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Peacock. Let the record show that a quorum of the board members is present, that the meeting has been duly called, and the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. And we will be moving on. Since we already did the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation in the public hearing, I'm going to go ahead and skip those and move on to item 3, which is comments from the public. Nobody signed up? Okay, we're going to move on to item 4, special recognition. Ms. Rocha and board trustees, I wanted to go ahead and read everybody out, and then we can go down there to the bottom, and we'll recognize them one by one out there. But who we'll be recognizing today is the girls varsity volleyball bi-district champions, Gloria Trevino, coach of the year. Girls 7th and 8th grade volleyball district champions. Girls 8th grade cross country district champions. Freshman football district champions, and the tennis team district champions.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Cavazos. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our district champion and by-district champion girls volleyball team, led by our head coach, Gloria Trevino.
Good job, coach.
Okay, presently we have the MVP of the district, besides being the district champs, 5 district champs and area finalists. We got Lady Paloma Ibarra, of course, JJ. We got Neila Ibarra, she was defensive player of the year. We got Veronica Elizondo, she was first team all district. We've got our other 2 juniors, we've got Priyanka. Another senior, we've got Giovanna. Of district selection. And then we've got our sole sophomore, India DeVoe. And she And we've got Coach Rosie Capello, of course, and she's doing it.
We get mine another way. 1, 2, and 1. 1, 2, and got it. Oh, sorry.
So that everybody knows, you know, it's always easy and it's always fun to go ahead and brag about the coaches. I love bragging about my coaches because of everything that they do, all the hours that they work, the commitment that they have to the team and to the community, working so hard in all these long hours. At the end of the day, we have a great accolade for our coach, Trevino. She was voted and nominated as the All-Area Coach of the Year. So
Junior high volleyball. Drum line.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, behind every single varsity program, there has to be a basic building block to in every single program. Now, it's been year in and year out that this coach has been putting out district championships since I've been here. And it's always fun to go ahead and recognize this coach because of the great accomplishments he's brought to this program. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and once again, just like always, no big surprise, our district champion, 7th and 8th grade volleyball head coach, Mary Cruz.
They woke me a lot, so this this too. We tend to I know that sometimes we throw them out because we're like, we gotta use the gym, we gotta get prepared. Can you use the other gym? And we're always asking for the other gym because we have so many girls in our program. You may not see them here today because they had to go other places. I only found out about this Friday, so I was texting so the coaches, and we got as many as we could. And I am going to mention everyone, even though they're not here, because they have contributed to this title. And every year they win, and they win because they start at a young age. If I can take first grade, I'm taking first grade. My husband starts the league. First graders are out there all the way to 6th grade, and they learn so much. You may see them, in first grade they come out, they can't even get the ball over. Little by little, by the end of the season for the volleyball league, they're getting the ball over, even though I'm moving them up. And then I have our kids at RCR Elementary already preparing for the league, and they're excited. Okay, and I'm excited about this group. I kept getting some people asking me, when are you going to retire? When are you going to retire? Why are you asking me that question? I'm not retired yet. If I still have the energy, I'm going to be out here. And I was looking forward to this group. These two groups, I saw them as little bitty, first graders, and I didn't want to leave. I said, no, I'm coaching y'all. What are you talking about? So I'd like to introduce all of them, because all of them have prepared, and they've worked so hard to win district, and they went undefeated. Our 7th and 8th grade A and B teams went undefeated.
Okay, 8th grade A, Yanay Alvarado. Emily Gonzalez. Jasmine Jimenez. Tia Peacock. Sandra Rivera. Aileen Sanchez. Nicole Sanchez. Angel Sepulveda. Shauna Vasquez. Jocelyn Weaver. Vida Ibarra. Arlene Gonzalez, Lisa Salazar, Ruby Esquivel, Katie Guzman, Anika Reyes, Yanisa Ibarra, Jaden Hawaiian, Jackie Salinas, and Julissa Echevarria. I'm going to move on to 7th grade 18. This is my team. We have Priscilla Garcia, she played number 3. And then we have Shannon Segura, Miranda Calderon, 12. Kendall Gandaria, 13. Miranda Gonzalez, 14. Amy Reyes, 16. Rebecca Davila, 17. Caitlin Martin, 26. And Alexa Rodriguez, 41. Our 7th grade B team, Leila Cruz, Rebecca Barata, Adriana Gonzalez, Sharon Castillo, Nina Perez, Coach just wanted me to read this quote really quick, and she wanted to put it on the back of her district shirt. She hasn't received it yet, but she wanted me to read it. It says, when you win as a team. It doesn't matter if one person had more hits or one person barely touched the ball, but you win as a team.
I love seeing the parents out at the games. I know know we go crazy, and I know they go crazy with the officials. I do too. But I love you all being out there to support them, and they love it because they're like, just text my mom, just text my mom. Okay. All right. So they love you all being out there, and I hope that all this group of the others that we don't have here, that they continue playing. I mean, I love this two groups. They're strong, and I know that if they come out in the summer and they prepare themselves, they're going to be somebody to reckon with. I know they're going to build up this program here with Coach Trevino, and I know they're going to be a part of that strong program. We want to continue winning, and we want to win district by ourselves. Okay? I don't like winning district with us. Happy New Year, God bless.
Every year, district championships, and I want to go ahead and introduce Coach Castillo for the 8th grade girls cross country team. Along with Coach Castillo, I want to go ahead and also, Coach Castillo, yes, just you first. Along with Coach Castillo, I'd like to go ahead and also recognize the varsity head track coach. He has won District 5 of the last 6 years. I know that pretty much our own coaching staff always jokes around and calls him the GOAT. And the reason they call him the GOAT is because I don't think anybody's had a string of district championships as what he has brought to Ecatchasa. Coach Juan Perez.
volleyball. They come out to run in 100-degree weather. Then they go back into the gym to finish off their volleyball practices. And they are there day after day. So they deserve all the recognition they can possibly get. And I'd like to begin with also our individual district champ, Jasmine Mireles. She was our individual district champ.
And Jasmine will be This year, they were third in the region, and by the end of the season, they were ranked 14th in the entire state of Texas. Wow. So these little ladies went out there and they really represented the black and gold with pride, and I'm just really happy to be a part of this. You see how it starts at the junior high and it comes up to these ladies, and I'd just like to give them a round of applause. Thank you. Alright, ready? 1, 2, and come on.
Thank you all. All right, gentlemen, next group, I'd like to go ahead and introduce to you our district champion freshman football team, led by Coach Javier Zavala.
This is my first time doing this, so I want to thank you guys in turn for taking the time your kids for the season. I mean, there were these group of kids, special kids to me and my staff. They work hard every day in practice. You know, they never complain about anything. They were just going to get everything done. And it was hard. You know, it hurts me inside because that group is special for me. You know, I've been coaching 6, 7, 8 years here. This is the first special group I've had in this coaching freshman. You know, these kids work hard. They never complain. You know, there were times that I would go check the locker room and they're already outside stretching. You know, these kids, some of these kids are hard to get when you do that. But these kids are special to me and my staff. My staff, you know, we work hard together to keep them focused on grades and everything. You know, I thank the parents for giving me that opportunity to have the kids read football season. Thank you.
Good job.
This is I call him Mr. Not Big and Nice, so this is Pedro Hernandez. This is Sean Marcolejo. George Munoz.
Good job.
Johan Arias. Eric Dean. Brandon Cortez. Diego Andres. Juan Gran. Kristen Bud. Next one is Isaac Apple. Joseph Garcia. Nico Hernandez Herrera. Next is Connor Gillen. This is Derek Herrera. Jesse Garza. To the coaching calendar here is Benito Garcia. And Mike Wayman. And Eric Nino is coaching a basketball team, so he's going to make it.
You take mine and then you guys get it. Alright, everybody. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and
Good job, guys. Good job. Yes, yes. All right, President, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Cavazos, the last group, last but not least, the group, next group I'm going to go ahead and introduce is also led by a coach of the year. Okay? So I want to go ahead and give the floor up to Coach of the Year, Coach Hilario Prieto.
Thank you guys for allowing me to coach them. Most of you are here are my seniors. I've been coaching them for 4 years already. So I love all these kids, wonderful kids. Never have a problem with them. And now when we talk about the season, we had a great season this year. We went 7-0. We went undefeated. And really, all the matches that we played were fairly easy. They really dominated the whole district. And I'm just really, really proud. Tennis is a year-round sport, so they're there all summer. Cold, sunny, super hot. The southern heat. But they really push it. They really fight hard. So I'm just really, really proud of these. Right here we have MVP, Frankie Lara.
Here's Frank.
Giovanna. Ryan Joen. First team out of district, Jason Salinas. First team out of district, Carla. Alex Alaska. Brandon Riojas. They call her a different name in practice. Oscar? Oscar came in and out, Oscar. Priscilla Mistake.
Joe, will you get them off?
Yes. Alright guys, ready? 1, 2, and one more. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Got
You want to do like last time? Right here. Yes. Right here.
I'm going to go ahead and send the next one.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll say something. You know, this past year, 2017, 2018, it was a very important year. They're all important, but as far as our academics, as far as our sports, as much as our arts, we did really, really well, and so well that we were state champs. And here in Edcouch or here anywhere, that's big. But for us here in Edcouch, it makes us really proud because you all are state champs, and anybody's capable of being a state champ. It's just as much work that you put into it. So I know powerlifting got some gifts, and Mayashi got some gifts, and Deca got some state championship gifts, and we're waiting for you all to come in. And I know y'all were anticipating everything, but they're here. So we're going to present our drum line from the band with state championship rings. So round of applause to them.
We're going to call them by name. You got your names.
I just want to thank the parents and love the administration for all the support and our awesome principal, Mr. Gutierrez. It's been a pleasure working with your kids, parents. I've worked with these kids since 6th grade. Since chiquitos, little kids, babies. You see them blossom into champions. It's unbelievable. So again, thank you everybody. And we just hit a little bit on the season. These kiddos were remarkable. They exuded excellence in every sense of the word. They were undefeated as well. Not one team beat us. They competed against a lot of 6A schools with 2, 3 junior high feeders, and they whooped them. We have some lofty goals for this next coming up year. We're looking to go international, WGI. This is professional level. And so we're going to let the world know who Edcouch is.
Yeah.
And we hope to be in Dayton, Ohio in April and coming back with another trophy. So give you guys a round of applause.
Okay, and my name is
I have the next one. It's Andres Guerrero. I have the next one, Germán Lopez. Next I have George Gutierrez.
Xiomara Martinez.
I have Kennedy Mariscal.
Oh, so you're in the band? Never told me to huh? All right. Thank you so Mine goes to Lydia Miller.
Asia Gonzalez.
Your little box.
Joel Cáceres. Thank you very much.
Oh, I got this one. Michael Ramirez.
I have the next one is Joshua Trejo. The next one is Alexander Noyola. Next we have Kennedy Mariscal.
Gloria Olivares.
Irving Zamora.
María Nevares.
Candace Merwin.
Johnny Smith?
Next one is Zelan Garcia. Liliana Coronado.
Just the last thing, this wasn't the only thing they did. We also went to Austin, and these kids competed at the state zone ensemble level, and they all came back with gold medals. And on top of that, local professors, local musicians took note of these kids' accomplishments at the university level as well. And they were asked to perform at the local PASIC Rio Grande Valley Day Percussion. So they were honored, and they played in front of musicians from across the world. And they all got these kids, one thing they all comment that every party told me is their confidence. When these guys play, they play with so much confidence, and it's just unbelievable. In such short time that we've been doing this, to accomplish so much. And I'm just so proud to be a teacher. And again, thank you parents, administrators, and everybody in attendance. I just want to say thank you.
Ready? 1, 2, ready, 1, 2, and one more. Ready, 1, 2, and.
All right.
Yes, put them up, guys.
Want to see him?
Come on, come on.
Green Lantern. There you go.
Joe, you want to come up closer and we'll arrange together because y'all want to put your numbers together. First call.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. I'm just going to announce the meeting.
Man, I was hoping we think this short better.
What's like the little apparatus?
Nice, I took a picture, I showed him my life. I didn't want to leave for Christmas. Congratulations, guys.
Good job, guys. That's cool. Picture video. Okay. Oh, the drum man, I hope.
7:30. No, it's a promo video of the STEM Academy. Take a look. Hot.
No, let's run right through real quick and go quick. There's not a lot of this, I mean, but yeah, but even those discussions are not. Ben, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this.
Okay, you gonna show? Okay. Okay. All right, Thank you, everybody. We're gonna be moving on with our special meeting. Moving on to item 5, superintendent's report, student enrollment, and then from there we're gonna have a short little video from Ms. Rocha.
The next item, Mr. President, on student enrollment that is in your packet, in your folder, we're showing the enrollment as of Friday, December the 14th. We're down 179. That's actually an improvement over the last few weeks.
We're down to 12, right?
Yeah, we were actually in the 220, 230 range. So I want to congratulate and thank the principals. They're trying very hard to increase their enrollment and also their attendance rate at each campus. The principals deserve a lot of credit. We're out there trying to recruit students and to keep them in our schools. And so I think the community will start to see some new initiatives that we're going to start in January when we come back from the holidays. We're going to go out and try to recruit some of those kids that have left at Cal Chelsea ISD and try to encourage them to join our district again.
Any questions for Mr. Cavazos on the student enrollment?
No.
No? Okay, Mr. Cavazos, thank you. We'll move on to Ms. Rocha. You want to show us this?
If I may, I just want to say, this is the latest production that we have for Cal Chelsea. It will be aired in Channel 5 in the English and the Somos del Valle in Spanish, because there's a lot of people that listen to the news, especially in the news. And it will also be aired, during the Christmas holidays. Everybody goes to the movies. Our goal is to get it out there. We're going to have it in Movie 16 in FAR and in Weslaco. This is 30 seconds, and this one is showcasing what we're doing at Truan STEM Academy. And it says that at Truan we have it all. We have the latest instructional strategies, the academy, and then also that we have extracurricular, anything that they have, Truan has it to offer. So the kids had a lot of fun producing this video. Some of the kids said, "Ma'am, we're all champions." So that word champion is really in their hearts. So we'll show, if we have time, we can show the Spanish, if not just the English. It's 30 seconds. Joe, do we have it?
Greatness exit.
And each and every one.
John. Yes. You could have showed this at the beginning too. You could have showed it at the beginning. This? I know. All right. It's my fault. I should have spoken. My fault. I should have spoken. We're gonna see. Okay, we're gonna do it.
We should have guided you.
No, but I'm thinking about running the board.
And each and every one of us, we continue to challenge ourselves.
On and off the field.
Hello?
At Cal Chelsea ISD is building champions. Our STEM Academy is generating the scientists, technologists, engineers, and mathematicians that will create new ideas, new products, and entirely new industries in the 21st century.
And it all starts in the 6th grade. At Cal Chelsea ISD, motivate, educate, graduate.
That looks good.
That looks real good.
That looks good, Mr. Rocha.
Thank you, Mrs. Rocha. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really
Great
nice.
video.
That'll work.
That one will be airing on Channel 5 and...
Channel 5 and Somos del Valle, which is Channel 5 in Spanish.
Okay.
And the movie theaters.
Okay, good.
In Weslaco and in FAR.
Great, thank you. That's one thing we need to focus on more is the market.
That's a good idea, the 6th grade. I think something like that for the 7th and 8th grade as well, something that entices kids that, hey, this is where you want to come back to.
Yes, that's why we did the pre-K, because we didn't want the pre-K to leave. And then we showcased, because that's where IDEA is growing. So I wanted to make sure that parents know.
The blue school.
Yes. And one of the things before our 5th graders leave, We're going to go to the campus, we're going to show them and all the things that we're doing in Nevada, so that the parents will know that there's a lot of great things that are going to happen. Also, our early college, the academy, the pre and eighth grade, the pre-early college, so all those things we have to do with the parents and those are being done with our programs there. And also the pride, the kids, you see all the accomplishments. Right, so that's what we want. That was the main message of that video.
Okay.
And it starts in 6th grade.
Thank you, Ms. Rocha.
It's only in 7th and 8th grade, no, it starts in 6th.
Thank you. And that goes to, I know the principals, I've seen some of y'all doing some of the marketing work and trying to, appease to the parents and trying to, make sure that they're getting well-rounded here at our schools. But, whatever ideas you all have, please let us know. Let Mr. Costas, let myself know, send an email or something, so we can be on the same page, so that way the parents will continue to choose Ed Cal Chelsea. Moving on to consent agenda items. Do we have any questions on any of these items? It'll be A through L.
I had a question on item C. The only thing, I wasn't able to get on my app anymore. But there was an item on some Chromebooks. I just wanted to see where do we place those Chromebooks? Are those Chromebooks in?
You're at the different campuses.
There was a total, I think it was it 80? Or am I looking at, because there was another one on the laptops also. And I just wanted to see where.
The laptop for the teachers that attended the TV this summer.
Okay.
So those are distributed.
Okay, so those have already been given to our teachers?
So these laptops are for the teachers or the students?
We ordered a combination of it. I don't know if you're looking at the one for the teachers or the ones we ordered for one, also ordered some for the student academy.
Okay. No, well, it's because I can't see the item. I was just looking to see, there were the big ticket items that I saw on there, and I was like, I wonder where these laptops are going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be for a lab, if it was going to be for the students, because I know that we had said that our STEM Academy was going to be requiring a lab setting with computers or laptops.
We ordered the towel with the laptop.
Okay.
And we'll be placing another order for the next semester.
Okay. Now, on the, I know that this probably isn't, but on the old Chromebooks, what are we doing with those? Do we have any type?
We have to surplus any of the Chromebooks.
We don't have any type of agreement with Dell or anything as to trade them out?
Unfortunately, those Chromebooks are just so cheap. I mean, they're $100.
Yeah.
It's done, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing that maybe for the marketing we can do, that show that our students are getting laptops and even our teachers and staff are getting equipped with the technology they need. I'm just in marketing mode, if y'all don't know. Me and JJ have been trying to just put our brains together to keep that marketing going. And it's one of the main focuses of mine, his, and the board. We talk about it a lot.
So especially you and I have been working extra hard.
Yes, we have. I know we had a marketing meeting last week and a lot of brainstorming. But we are serious about, we want our parents to choose Ed Cal Chelsea ISD. And it needs to be the focus. Okay? Numbers go down, numbers go down. Let's remember that.
I've got one on L. The approval of vendors that have or will exceed the 25,000 aggregate threshold set by the board. I don't think we set a $25,000 threshold. I thought the rule was the 25,000. That's more because of the IRS, the taxes.
No, well, our board policy limits the expenditures that the superintendent can make. It limits it to $25,000.
Okay, so then my next question would be, so if we've got a supplier or a vendor that is hired on January 1st and he works until May and he earns $25,000 in that time frame. The new school starts in August. By tax purposes, he's still at $25,000, isn't he?
No, our fiscal year is August to June.
But I'm talking about the IRS though, as far as tax purposes.
For tax purposes or 1099 purposes, yes.
For tax purposes then.
From calendar year.
It's calendar year. So then therefore that person cannot work in that calendar year if he's going to exceed the 25,000.
The policy pertains to our fiscal year. As far as the IRS, the obligation.
That's on them, yeah.
anybody's obligation to the IRS is their personal obligation.
As a vendor, that's how I am.
Fault to some.
Yeah, I have to, I'm 1099, so I have to report with the IRS, my 1099. But as far as school policy is concerned, it
Right,
only
but
goes this fiscal year.
I go back to the liner days. And obviously, those of us that lived through it, remember it. It was very clear that if there's a supplier or a person that's getting paid on a contract, and it was up to $25,000, and if it exceeds $25,000, then we have to make sure that we went through the bidding process if it's going to go over.
It becomes a procurement issue.
Right.
I also have I mean, not that I have a problem, but I'm just curious as to the way it's worded. It says approval of vendors that have or will exceed. What are we approving exactly?
Right
Well, when
now,
I got-
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
When I got instruction from legal on one of the facilities was to bring anything to the board on contracted vendors that were about to exceed or exceed the $25,000 mark.
They have or will.
So what I did was I ran every single vendor that we have that's on a contracted service and took their year-to-date total, but this is a school year-to-date. We're running from September 1st and it's going to go through August 31st. So some of them are barely meeting that 25,000 mark. Some of them have already met them, but have already come to the board for approval. So those, if you notice on that list, I already put board approval on it. And there's only very few that actually need to come to the board for additional approval.
Yeah. If you don't mind, just to help clarify, maybe legal counsel can help us with this one, but I think the concern is under policy is that it specifies that any single purchase above $25,000 has to go to the board. But there's a limit of $50,000 in board policy. And so the idea is that we want to make sure that if we buy something that's above $25,000, that's come to you for approval. But now the next purchase is going to take us beyond the 50. So when we get to that limit, that $50,000 cap, we need to come back to the board.
Actually, if you're going over 50, you got to bid it out.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the issue or part of the question is that we want to make sure that the board understands that if we do bid this out, when we go beyond the 50,000, Mrs. Garza's office, the business office, is going to be coming forward with a lot more RFPs and RFQs
But this
because of
is
that.
this is just for the 25,000 threshold, right?
Yes.
So my question here is, on this here, the 25,000, I remember the days where it was basically very clear that, and I guess we need to review board policy. Anything above 25,000, because I thought we discussed it last year, that we wanted everything, if there was going to be anybody going over the 25,000, we wanted to make sure that was brought back to us prior to them being hired and prior to them going over the 25,000. So my question would be is, those that are going over the 25,000, were they approved by the board before they were hired to go over the 25,000?
That I don't know.
Yes, a lot of them had already been brought to the board at the beginning of the year.
Now, a lot of them, which ones have not, that are already been hired?
I have a list that's in there in your board packet, and it outlines every single vendor that has reached that point already. And there's a few that, like, say for instance, Dell Marketing. Well, we have constant purchases made on those. So that one has reached, even though it's a DIR vendor, some of those won't reach the 25 until we actually get the actual invoice. So right now, and we can have several invoices at one time, and it'll exceed the 25.
What you're saying, so if they do any business with the school, you're saying is they need to come before the board, like even if it's just a small little contract with the campuses or whatever, does that mean they still have to be brought to the board? Or?
No, it's the $25,000.
It's the aggregate. It depends on what the aggregate is.
25.
Right.
No, I think the question is, like, let's say, like one campus hires one vendor, and you know it's a small amount, and then another campus hires that same vendor, and then administration does. So the total cannot exceed the 25,000.
Correct.
Yeah, puts us in a situation with the IRS.
And at that point, then it comes back to the board for.
Well, then you have to follow the bidding process, and you have to bid for it.
And I think that's where we're stuck at, is I think we do have people that are above that we didn't go out for bids.
Above the 50?
Above the 25, actually. And close to the 50 on some of them.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was my understanding that above 50 is when you have to go out for bid, right?
Right.
Right. Under 50, you don't have to go out for bid.
No, but on the IRS tax purposes for employees, it's 25,000.
Well, yeah, but
Employee?
If it's
I
under an employee.
don't get the IRS with the school.
The employee, this is not for employees, this is for vendors.
So it's 50.
Yeah, 50.
You're talking
Above
about
50, you have to
consultants?
go out for bid. Under 50, you don't have
For
to go out for bid.
consultants,
Well, consultant's a vendor, they're not an employee.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, if you bring a consultant and it's over $25,000, that needs board approval.
that's right.
And that was one of our findings in our.
Right, that was one of the findings. And that was the item that was part of the item.
finding? Was that the
One of
6?
The finding that we received last year was for the 50,000 mark, which needs to be bidded out.
Oh, that was for the audit.
For federal, from federal grants.
That's when we met the technology and we went on that audit, right? That was one of them.
Right.
That was for the 50.
Yeah.
But, I mean, proper, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent, I mean, proper procedure is for any contract that we anticipate to go over $25,000
Just
to
come
come to
to
the board before we issue it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the process that they're trying to begin right now.
I'd like to make a recommendation to approve, except that to move, table number L, letter L, until.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Torres, second by Mr. Lozano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and this motion was made to table item L and approve the rest on the consent agenda.
Correct.
Okay, so move. All right, items, or was there any other question? Or no, you did that one. Item 7, discussion and action items. That's A, discussion and possible action to approve filing Form 470 for Category 1 lit fiber connections. Presenter, Mr. Joe Torres.
Good evening, gentlemen. Come before you to request approval to file Form 470. 470 is the first step in the process of filing E-rate. In the packet, I submitted the last contract that we had for lit fiber services for 6 schools, which were the College of Career Readiness, which is now the options, the junior high, the LBJ, the JFK, Santiago Garcia, and JRG. This contract is about to end in June of 2019, but the process I need to start, way ahead of time to be able to do this. What I'm asking is, I'm asking for approval to submit so that vendors can respond to an RFP.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ibarra, second by Mr. Lozano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Torres.
Thank you.
Item 8, discussion and possible action to amend EDCA Child Support Policy EL Local. Mr. Ben Castillo.
Yes, sir, Mr. Board President, members of the board, and Mr. Cavazos. What this item is, it's board policy local, has to do with district authorized charters. There's been conversation about opening up a pre-K3, pre-K4 program, and this would be the avenue to move forward with that program and get a little bit of leeway on some of our certification rules.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Ibarra, second by Mr. Lozano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9, discussion and action to approve contract with Anita Pineda, moving and tapping. Presenter Itza Flores. Moving and tapping.
Hello, board members, Mr. Cavazos. This Anita Pineda is a teacher, and she's got her own contract business. She's a retired teacher, and she teaches our children that have visual impairments. So she helps with the teaching them how to read, the Braille, and so forth. We do have a need for VI services, and she provides it for EdCalCHOSA and also the co-op.
Ms. Flores, I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Pineda over dinner one day. I was having dinner and she approached me. I was very shocked to hear that this lady's working for us without a contract. She was very clear on how much she's earned. She's very clear on how much she's supposed to earn. And to me, I was very disappointed. This lady apparently is working, and she said, I've already earned, over $10,000, and all I've done is file paper. Because when are you guys going to get my contract approved? I already talked to Ron, I already talked to this also, I already talked to Ms. Flores, and I need my paper, I need my thing approved. At $52,000, I just can't be waiting for this to go on, so how long is it going to take? I had that conversation with her. I mean, I was actually very shocked that she would share all of that over dinner. Well, I was having dinner, she was standing there talking to me about this. When you say that there's a need, how many students in our district do we currently have with the need of, or basically that have the impairment of being blind?
Originally, she was put on, or I requested to put her on the agenda back in July, if I'm not mistaken.
We tabled her.
Yes, and then we tried again in August. So
But she was hired then, without board approval?
What we did was, we did a small contract, a short contract at under 15, if I'm not mistaken, at least so that we can discuss and see what else we could do. So it was something at about $14,000 is what we got with a signed contract, yes. Now, she is providing services. There are 9 children with disabilities that are visually impaired that receive services. Some are direct and some are indirect, which means that sometimes she does service them face-to-face, other times she checks up on them and provides other services.
According to her, she hasn't serviced anybody. According to her, she says, I have not serviced anybody. All they have me doing is filing papers, and that's all I'm doing, and I'm not a file clerk. According to her words, I'm using her words, Ms. Flores. She says, I haven't seen anybody, and she goes, I'd like to just get my contract going, and you guys need to move on it. So I have to at once say that I actually am against this. I think that in the need that we have, we can contract out to somewhere else, probably get a lot cheaper than $52,000 for part-time basis. Because she basically told me, I'm a part-time worker, I need my $52,000, because all I can give you is part-time work.
Okay, let me iterate, but the thing is, if we have one student that needs a service,
Yes.
I think we need it.
Well, I mean,
whether it's 1 or whether it's 9 or whether it's 100.
But I was told that they contract out on this, though.
Well, and that's cool, that's fine, but we've tabled this item twice already, and we're going to table it again? What's going to happen to those 9 students?
I'm not tabling, I'm saying I'm against this one right now. That's
So
my...
then what are we doing?
The children need their services.
And I understand that, but is there another way? Because obviously I called contract
Unless we
service.
hire someone else, or we can put it up for bids, but meanwhile, we need to provide services for the students.
You know, again, it's looking for other options. I understand it's 52. And I was under, she basically told me I'm a part-timer, and that's what bothered me. 52 for
We're
part-time.
contracting with her, she's not employed with the district, she's contract services.
Again, this bothers me because of the way it was done. We had discussed not doing it until it came back to the board. She says she works for her, she's here every day, she's filing. I've got an issue with it. So
I'm going to go ahead and say something here. These students, the 9 students you say, they haven't been seen at all? Or have they been
They
seen?
have been seen.
They have
We
been
do
seen.
have paraprofessionals, she's there, she provides the services.
another
Now, they may
person that
not be
provides this.
direct services, it may be indirect services, but we're providing the services for the children.
And how many times have we tabled this? Or have we?
once before.
Twice.
Okay.
Again, according to her, she's not seen any student, and that's my issue. According to her, she has not seen a student. Again,
Okay,
I mean, she
yeah,
basically told me, I have not seen anybody, and I'm tired of filing papers. And that's my concern, that we have a person that we've paid over $10,000 to file papers according.
Ms. Flores, Mr. Torres, I'm going to go ahead and recommend we move this until after executive session so that we can come back and talk about this, if that's okay with legal.
Yes, we could go into executive and discuss any legal issues that the board may have with procurement or any. What's the contract price?
Right off the bat, I can't remember what it was.
Sorry,
The contract price,
The temporary one that they did was 12,000.
No,
Oh,
hold on.
total.
There's one in place for 12,000, right?
Yes.
And then we're asking for how much more for this other one?
40.
40, so that equals 52.
Yeah, so I'd like to discuss an executive session and give the board legal advice on the procurement requirements for this contract. So we can move it to after executive session, Mr. Board President.
We'll move it into after. Okay, thank you, Ms. Flores.
Thank
Moving on to item 10, discussion of possible approval of the Texas Education Agency class size exceptions waivers. Presenter, Ms. Rocha.
Yes, sir. TA requires that anytime we have a classroom that exceeds the 22-to-1 in fourth grade, we need to ask for a class size waiver. Right now, we have LBJ that has, in first grade, room A1 has 23 students, and then in third grade, we have another classroom with 23 students. So we're asking for a class size waiver for LBJ.
Now, Ms. Rocha, do we have, we don't have any other teachers that could maybe be housed there? I know we had a few
I think at least at one grade level, if I'm not mistaken, we have an uncertified teacher that's working only with those students that are not bilingual, they're not left. And so there's a limitation for that grade level. I don't know if we have teachers in fifth grade that maybe we could bring down to fourth grade, but in that grade level we have a problem.
Right now, our teachers have to be bilingually certified to have our LEP
Yes.
students.
Yes.
So it's putting a burden on our teachers because I know I fall in the same category here.
Yes.
I have 26 students in my classroom, and it's a job because you get to a point to where you're not really
Right.
teaching, you're
Right.
babysitting. So having 23, especially first graders, you know, these are very active students, and this is where we are low in our, you know, attendance. We have negative 64. And that kind of puts a little
A
red
burden.
flag for whenever we have, you know, our competitors looking to see who's giving more quality instruction, you know. And I know it's easy to just, let's go ahead and do the waiver, not really knowing the true meaning of what it feels like to be a teacher with this many students. My only concern would be, you know, I don't know if the other campuses have lower numbers and maybe we can transfer students over to those.
We have looked and talked about that. We've looked at those options, but at this particular point, we're over by one student at this point. I think the question is, you know, are you going to move a teacher? Are you going to change or disrupt an entire class on one campus because we're over one student? It's one of those things, it's just kind of a give and take. You've got to figure out, you know, how you're going to try to balance it.
It's just that if we approve the waiver, then this teacher can have up to 26 students, you know, there's no, what would it be?
We try not to.
We would not do that.
One of the things that we're doing is that when students enroll, we look at already where they're at, and when a student enrolls and we have space in another campus, and we talk to because the transportation is an issue. If the parent cannot take a student over there, then we cannot do it. So if a student resides and we talk to Mr. Rodriguez, Transportation Department, and they say, yes, we can go and take them. We started doing that. We've done 2 of those students, and we usually look, if it's a student that has a brother and a sister, because then it will mean 2 grades. So we take into consideration, these were special students that requested to be at that campus. And so we had that, and we're trying, and Mr. Gonzalez is here, the 2 waivers that you approved last month, we're trying not to go over a certain limit. We're closing, and right now we have one campus, it's already at 22 in another grade, so we're going to try to send that to another campus. So we're trying very hard, but at this point, we wanted to be in compliance with TEA until we look at what options we can explore to maybe either bring a teacher or, you know, work so that we won't have that 23 in those classrooms. But for right now, we need to be in compliance with TEA.
What
So
campus is this?
which one? LBJ.
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 This then is going to become a burden second grade because these students are going to be transferring to the next grade level.
Mhm.
And it was over by one student? I'm sorry, Chris.
One student.
And A1?
A1. And in 3rd grade, the same thing.
Yeah, but
Once.
I get what Chris is saying. It's
Yes.
just If we approve it, and, you know, it kind of gives them leeway to add more. Is there any way we could just cap
Yes,
it at
we're gonna cap it at
There's got to be communication between our administrative staff to where we know we want our numbers to go higher, but we also don't want to hurt our instructors.
Exactly.
You have a quantity versus quality,
Yes.
and that's my concern. And if we approve, you know, getting a higher number in our classrooms, we lose out on the instruction and their, you know, main. So that's just my concern. I know that last time we had for the upper grades, and that's still, you know, a tough group, you know.
Yeah.
But in the lower grades, I know that it becomes an issue, and I really, I'm against this. I mean, but this is something that
You know, we can try to work around it, you know, but sometimes talking to the parents and moving them out of their comfort zone, one student, you know, you've got to look at all the options. One student, taking him out of a comfort zone that's been there, we could probably look to see if we could transfer a teacher or so forth. But in doing this, we try to explore all options. And this,
I know this year is a little unique only because of the fact that our LEP students have to
Yes.
stay with our bilingual teachers.
and that's what's hurting us.
That's what the issue is.
Yes.
And that's what's happening in our
Yes.
district too.
Mr. Morales, so, do you want to move forward, or do you want to hold back on the exception?
I think all of you are very familiar with Mrs. Rocha. She's been doing this for a long time. We'll assure you that we're not going to be going beyond maybe 2 students in a class. And at this point, she and I had talked about this. We already looked at trying to make some changes of staffing and trying to do what we can to alleviate that issue. But I think historically, I think the
You look at my
tradition here is
notes,
to try
I
to
look
keep the
at that
numbers as
every
low as
day.
possible.
I'd like to recognize Ms. Nimas. She had a question.
I just want to say that in addition to this one student that's over, we've already heard that there's 2 more students wanting to leave IDEA in January.
Yeah.
They're coming to that
So if we approve that, it's going to go over
Chris.
2 more.
See, and this is,
We'll get those back from IDEA, but
this is gonna be a burden on our teacher.
Yes.
And,
Well, Ms. Contreras is a good teacher, and I know that personally.
well, I know.
She's
The thing is that we have other students that are gonna be affected. It's not just the teacher, it's the actual outcome of the instruction by the teacher with that amount of students, you know?
Well, I think that would come down to the principals on managing their classrooms and making sure that the staff is, comfortable with that. I mean, if you're going to get 6 kids, you're not going to put all 6 kids in one class. You're going to try to spread them out.
Well, the thing
throughout
is
the
that
classes.
if they're left, you're kind of forced because those are the only 2 classrooms that they have.
That's
available
the
for-
problem that
We
we're
have,
having.
how many do we have that are bilingually certified?
in first grade, there's 3 bilingual teachers and 1 non-bilingual.
And all 3 are at 21 already?
22.
22. 22. They all have
See, and
20.
We're 1 over. We're 1 over in 1 class.
I had 5 teachers, but we closed one of the classrooms at
They all have 22.
We're going to find another teacher then.
We could look and see from
Well,
another
we can't get another
grade.
first grade teacher and minimize them. They can focus with.
But you run into the same problems where I think there's a lot of teachers out there that are still lacking.
Yes,
in
that's my
bilingual.
concern.
From other campuses?
All
well-
campuses are strained as far as the bilingual issue goes.
For the bilingual.
No,
They are
it's
scrambling.
happening statewide.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
my
everybody's
thing is-
scrambling right now.
That's what has hurt us this year.
And that's my concern.
I have got one. Chris, what's the way on Chris?
My thing is, do we still have any teachers that we looked at that? You said we did, right? That we have any teachers that are certified, bilingually certified? Ron?
I can't tell you right offhand. I wish I had the list with me, but I don't have it here with me. But do we have extra teachers at a couple of other schools that we could move at this point?
We would have to
Probably. We probably do. But it would mean disrupting that class at that campus. You have to take those kids and spread them out among the other teachers. It is possible. It can be done. But it's just one of those things that you're trying to balance. Do you do that just to accommodate that one student at that one campus in that one grade? So that's kind of the concern.
Because I know we're going to get an influx of students coming in after the holidays. I know we always have those.
But
that's just my concern.
But you're going to run into the problem where you're going to start straining your teachers that are bilingually certified because you have others that are not. So you're going to have to start putting kids in there and then the waiver. Yeah, this is a problem now and then for the near future too.
When it was grade level wide, it was not a big, but right now because we have some that are not.
So what happens if we don't pass this item? What happens?
We're out of compliance.
We're out of compliance.
We're out of compliance, and you risk the chance of having to, send the state back money. You're putting the district in a position of liability.
Chris?
The state understands that we have a lot of these certification issues. That's why they give you this opportunity. They allow you to apply for the waiver. And our thing is that we just don't, we don't want to overload teachers, but, it's really kind of a balancing act. You just have to try to do the best you can.
We need to encourage our teachers to go and get bilingual certified.
Can we also, if we're gonna approve this, we must set a cap to where, and my thing is this, we open it up today, and then a month later, we've got 2 other students wanting to come into, we have to know that they can't be in there.
Can it be approved with a cap?
We can do that administratively. That's not an issue. I think Mrs. Rocha and I both understand that. I think the principals understand that.
But this isn't the
we've gotta
first
be
waiver
fair.
we've approved this year.
No, I know, it's not.
No.
So
If I may, what we can do is if you approve it And we will try our very best to work with our principals and see what we can do district-wide to look at the numbers, because it's not as easy, because we pull one teacher and bring her over here, whatever, it's still, you need to look at the big picture and see what we can do. Our issue here was that we wanted to be in compliance and then try to see what we could do.
Okay,
If you wanna-
I'd like to, sorry, Ms. Rocha, I'd like to entertain a motion on this item, and then we can come back and,
To approve with the stipulations set before?
as long as you make that in a motion.
Can we set that in?
Okay, or just approve and then administratively, we manage that.
So the
Then we
board-
don't exceed 24, no?
I would advise that the board follow the recommendation of the administration, but they can stipulate a cap based on budgetary concerns or staff morale. So if that's in the board's prerogative, you guys could put a cap on that.
But do we make that into a motion?
You could if you want. If you want it to be formal, you could. On that basis.
Can we get a motion on this?
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the class size exception, but with the stipulation that we can't go past the 24.
Okay, I second that motion.
That's fine.
Well, motion by Mr. Morales, second by Mr. Barco. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item 11, discussion, review, and possible action on expenditures for contracted services entered into within the last 24 months. This is Mr. Cavazos that has to put this on there, and pretty much this is kind of going to go into what the item L was that we tabled, but this was to talk about the contracted services that the school has district-wide. I don't know if y'all want to get into this, or if there's any questions, or we can go into executive, or not executive, we can just, no action, but it's up to y'all if you want to open this up for discussion.
This ties into letter L, no?
Yes, it ties into
Say that
letter L.
we combine these two for discussion in executive?
Okay.
Second.
Well, motion by Mr. Torres, second by Mr. Lozano. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Oh, wait. No.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's to move back. Correct. Item 12, discussion and action to approve board resolution regarding Ag Barn construction project. That one is going, and item 12 and item 13 are going into executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this moving on to closed session. The superintendent requests that the Board of Trustees convene in closed meeting as authorized by the provisions in the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 501, Texas Government Code. This executive session is in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Section 551.074 and 551.071. The time is 8:04 p.m. We are now in executive session. Executive session. The time is 9:03. Let's see. Action item. Okay, wait a minute. We got items before. Do I read these, Ben, before, or do I go straight into the other?
No, let's go into the ones that we tabled, Mr. Board President.
Okay.
And I believe we tabled L?
Yes.
L? Okay, back to item L, which is approval of vendors that have or will exceed the 25,000 aggregate threshold set by the board. This item's up for discussion.
Mr. Board President, it's advice of council that y'all approve, but with the stipulation that administration bring all contracts at the beginning of their term if they expect them to be, exceed $25,000.
So move. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Torres. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item L. Next, the item after that was
9.
9, discussion and action to approve contract with Anita Pineda Moving and Tapping.
Yes, Mr. Board, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go out for an RFQ for this particular item and not continue with this particular contract.
We have a motion by Mr. Lozano to go out for RFQ, second by Mr. Torres. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And then we have
Item 11.
Yes, sir.
Discussion, review, and possible action on expenditure for contract services entered within the last 24 months. I think this was just no action.
Yes, sir.
Item 12, discussion and action to approve board resolution regarding ag barn construction project.
Yes, Mr. Board President, if it's okay with you and the board, if we could combine items number 12 and 13, and advice of council is that that the board approve the resolution, and that they approve the administration going out for a request for proposal for construction manager at risk as discussed in closed session.
So move.
We have a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Torres, in reference to what Mr. Castillo said. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It's too much to repeat. Okay, going into items 15, action item discussing closed session. Item A, discussion possible action regarding personnel considering appointment, employment, resignation, retirement, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer or employee. Mr. Castillo? Or
Mr. Cavazos?
Mr. Cavazos? Sorry.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to request that the board approve all the items as discussed in executive session for item A.
So move. Second.
Motion for approval by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Torres. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, discussion.
No action, sir. No action. You don't. I'll save you the.
No action?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well.
Awesome.
Unless you want to read it, I mean, it's your.
I like the sound of my voice.
I like the sound of it too.
Dude, no action on item B. Next item, adjournment.
So move. Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. Motion carries. The time is 9:06 p.m.